Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Medical Research with Mohan. I am Dr. Mohan Raj Sharma, and today's topic for discussion is how to write a successful research proposal. The learning objective for today are these. The first one is the general learning objective. I will help you understand the concept of medical research as opposed to memorizing the step. And second and topic specific objective is to help you understand the steps of writing a good research proposal, typically written for grant application or for IRC approval. Let's briefly describe about what it is. It is a structured formal document that details the proposed research topic, its worthiness, and your plan of execution in terms of what, why, and how. It is intended to convince others, that is those in the research ethical committee or grant evaluation committee, that you have a worthwhile research project, you have necessary competence, enough sampling units and other resources to complete it, and the whole project is feasible in terms of time and it complies with the ethical standard. So one slide dedicated to describe the difference between proposal and protocol. A proposal is a brief description of an idea for a project, and it emphasizes the importance of research question the project would help to answer. As you know, it describes significantly on the science behind the project, whereas a protocol typically follows the proposal stage, and it is nothing but a detailed roadmap describing how you plan to complete your project. So this is the difference. Proposal and protocol are used interchangeably, but this is the difference between proposal and protocol. This slide discusses about why proposals are typically rejected. This was adapted from Locke and colleague from a book published in 1987. First and most important one is the failure to clearly define and appropriately frame the study question. This is the most important aspect, and I'll have a separate video on how to frame the study question. Second is failure to follow the guidelines for proposal content, format, and length, which is given by the fund awarding agencies or ethical regulatory bodies. And third is the incomplete, inaccurate, and outdated review of the literature. This suggests that the researcher doesn't know the territory, and it would be a big no for the reviewer. And the fourth one is inadequate description of the methodology. If the researcher has caught the corner in describing the methodology, then that makes the evaluators little suspicious and chance of rejection. Fourth is no matter how big the research is, if there are a lot of ethical issues, then there is a high chance that the proposal might be rejected. And the last one is the poor grammar or style and syntax. This reflects the carelessness on the part of the researcher, and then there is a high chance that they will doubt on your research capability. And these are the components of a research proposal. This was adapted from the publication from World Health Organization as elements of research proposal. We'll go one by one. Let's discuss how important is the title. Based on one paper published in New England Journal of Medicine, 90% of the people read only the title and abstract. So it is extremely important to construct a good title to attract your readers. The title should be informative, accurate, clear, concise, and attention commanding. And no acronyms should be put in the title except when they are very obvious, like WHO, ICU, AIDS, etc. And our titles should not include observations on or a study of kind of redundant word combination, because they do not add anything to the title. And our titles should not exceed more than 15 words. So you should be able to finish the title in one breath. And it should typically describe the relationship between independent and dependent variables. Let's do one example. Somebody wants to do a study on screen time and headache, and this is the title they have put. It is a very bland title, doesn't say anything about the research topic much, But this is the strong title on the same topic, effect of screen time and the frequency of headache among adolescents. It immediately, generates interest among the readers. Two things you have to take into consideration are this: it should always be non-inflammatory, it should not be pointing fingers to others, and it should rarely be emotional, because the writing paper is or writing proposal is a part of academic writing, not creative writing, and emotion has no place there. So while constructing a title, you have to ask three questions, like, does it reflect the objective of the protocol? If your title doesn't reflect the objective of the protocol, your title is not good. Second, does it follow the standard of a research title, which we described a couple of slides ago? Third, is it inflammatory or emotional in nature? If it is inflammatory or emotional, your title is not good. So you answer these three questions, and when you get the satisfactory answer, then only your title is good. Now let's go to the introduction and rationale part. In the introduction and rationale, this is what we need to write, nothing more, nothing less. And in the introduction and rationale should not exceed more than 150 words. Is there adequate description of the research gap? What is known about the topic? What is unknown about the topic? And how is your research going to bridge this gap? That should be written. Otherwise, it becomes a mere repetition of the previous work, which is unethical. Now, let's talk about the research question. I will start with this famous quotation by Albert Einstein. If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper question to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. This underscores the importance of formulating good research questions. Where do the questions come from? The question typically come from researchers' own observation in daily work, followed by input from the faculty and other investigators' theories or research, particularly future work that is written at the end of the discussion part or in the conclusion part of the previously published work. Holly and colleagues have described finer criteria in 2007 regarding formulating good research question. The question should be feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. Then we discuss about the objective. Objectives help to focus the study by narrowing it down to essentials. Also, objective avoid collection of the unnecessary data. And you have to ask these questions while you formulate the objective. Is it in line with the research title? Are there too many or over ambitious objectives? Or is it does it follow the technical part of formulating using SMART criteria? In the research protocol, the objectives are written generally as general or specific or primary or secondary. The more common way of writing is general and specific. In general, objective is the title of your paper and is the main aim, main goal of carrying out the project. Specific objective is the smaller thing that come along with the general objective. And the similar thing applies in primary and secondary objective. Primary objective is the main aim or the main reason why you are conducting this research is the primary, whereas secondary objective is additional information that are gathered as part of achieving the primary objective is the secondary objective. Then we go to the research hypothesis, which is nothing but a statement of the nature of the relationship between two variables. Typically, they are stated as null and alternate hypothesis. And one thing we need to know is hypothesis cannot be proven, it is rejected. Descriptive studies do not require a hypothesis because we are not rejecting anything by using inferential statistics. A hypothesis should fulfill these three components: neutrality, falsifiability, and testability. We go to the materials and method. Four things have to be written under material and method. What is your research design? That depends upon your research question. What is your study site and what is the justification for choosing this site? That you have to explain. What are the inclusion and exclusion criteria? And fourth is you have to describe step by step how you things will be carried out in the research process. That should be written in the materials and method. About the sample size, most often in the proposal they are either improperly done or omitted, because both under and over sample size are not desired for ethical or resource related reason. You have to calculate the sample size using the appropriate formula, and you have to write the basis and method of determination, including the power of the study, level of significance, margin of error, etc. This is important for the interpretation of your finding. Next part is the data collection part. Data collection part is the most important and expensive step in any research. Two things we need to remember regarding the data collection while writing the research proposal. If we are using some international tools, those tools should be validated in your country or in your culture. And next is we need to specify who collects the data. It is not necessary that the principal investigator or co-investigator go and collect data. They can hire, junior research members to collect data, but it is extremely important they are well trained to do the data collection. This is especially true in qualitative research where the interviewer should be well trained before he or she goes for in-depth interview or focus group discussion. Regarding data analysis, this is also typically either not written or improperly written in the research proposal. We need to describe the appropriate statistical test based on the type of data you are going to collect. It should be a pre-study plan process, and this kind of sentences should be avoided because you know exactly what types of data you are going to collect, and then based on our statistical knowledge, we know which type of tests are appropriate for those kind of data. Regarding ethical consideration, informed consent is the most important aspect of ethical part. And the three pillars of research, respect, beneficence, and justice, should be duly followed. And safety is foremost. No matter how groundbreaking the research is, if it involves a lot of risks, this should not simply be done. One should remember that even administering a research questionnaire can have adverse effect on individuals. And in the proposal, we should describe information on how the safety of the research participant will be ensured. Regarding the budget, we should describe the financial provision necessary for carrying out this research, and it should be a detailed item-wise breakdown of the funds requested for, along with the justification for each item. And then we have to describe the source of funding, whether it is industry sponsor or government organization sponsor, especially while we applied for the ethical approval. Dissemination of the result is also one of the areas that needs to be described in your proposal. Typically it is the journal where your research result will be disseminated, but you can of course present the research results in the conferences, or you can give to the mainstream medias, which is the less preferred mode. And you should specify how and to whom the results will be disseminated, and there should be a clear description of the publication policy. Things you should must consider is falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus, which means false in one thing, false in everything. You should never lie, or you should not write something you are not sure about in your research proposal. And you should revise your proposal. This is the quotation from Blaise Pascal. He wrote this to his girlfriend, that I have made this letter longer than usual only because I haven't had time to make it shorter. This underscores the importance of revising your proposal. So to conclude my presentation today, writing a good research proposal is a time and mind demanding process. Unfortunately, there are no cookbook criteria, and you should begin writing your proposal early before the deadline so that you can finish early. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope the information presented here is of help to you. Hope to see you in next video. Bye.